Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the S&P Sports Show. I'm your host, Sean Stewart, on this first day of June. Unbelievable. Man, everything's flying quick. So I have my co-host, Mr. Anthony Paulus. As you know, this is game one of the NBA Finals and also the finals of the Scripps National Spelling Bee. There's a lot of crazy things happening. And Shannon Sharp just got a buyout. That was announced last night.
Well, I'm telling you, basically since the Hamlin incident,
Yeah,
that relationship with Skip Bayless pretty much went downhill.
from what I've
And
heard.
who knows if there were some other factors, but that one definitely, I think, was the straw that broke the camel's back, I would say. You know, so I think I think with that being said, you know, um it is what it is. The man's going to get a fat payout,
Right.
fat. And then he can go do what he needs to go do. You know,
Right.
he can go do NFL for another network. He can go to ESPN and do his own show.
Or go overseas and do a NFL show over there. Because there are some football players that do certain like that
I
overseas.
think he's staying stateside.
Just
He
saying.
may not be on Fox anymore, but CBS could use somebody, you know, Amazon, Barstool. I mean, there's plenty of ways to go about this.
Right.
So, you know, I think at this point, time will tell. The right opportunity will come, and you know, things will happen. So, you know, it is what it is.
Right. Okay, where do you want to start first, my friend?
I mean, we got the NBA Finals tonight. We're going to
And
see a
Nuggets are favored
couple
by 9.
things. We're going to see if the Jimmy Butler domination can continue. We're going to see if the altitude plays any kind of factor on this. Because playing up there, it's different than playing at, like a sea level or something like that. So we're going to see if there's any factor, in the playoffs with this altitude or not. You know, we're going to see if the Heat can be able to shut down the Joker.
Right.
And if the Nuggets can shut down Jimmy, and then will Miami's hot 3-point shooting continue from the outside?
Especially Caleb Martin, man, because he can shoot
Him and Duncan Robinson. Hey,
out the
those
bench.
two get the rock in their hand and they're on fire. I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, the Nuggets are favored to win the series. They're favored, minus 360.
Ooh.
So
Let's
I
see.
mean, you know, it is what it is at this point. So hey, time will tell. I mean,
And the Nuggets had a very great vacation after they beat the Lakers. So we don't know what type of Nuggets team we're going to see.
it's going to be a little bit crazy. That's for sure.
And then the Stanley Cup is not till Saturday. That will be on the TBS TNT family. I think True TV is also doing it as well. So there's a couple of networks that's doing the Stanley Cup along with TBS and TNT on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it'll be interesting. I think these ratings are going to be bad. They're doing it on a Saturday.
No, which nobody's not going to watch. Let's be honest. People go out on Saturdays.
I mean, it's essentially the summer. I mean,
Because my question is this: which one will be much lower between the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup? Because at
I
least Denver's
mean,
number one in the NBA, and then NHL, you got lower seeds in the Stanley Cup.
yeah. I mean, time will tell. You know, I mean, time will definitely tell. But in the end, I mean, the ratings won't be good. I mean, it's going to be crazy if the Heat and the Panthers somehow both win. That 2-8 seeds would end up winning the ships in their respective leagues.
Oh,
I mean,
I don't think that's never happened before.
I mean,
That'd be
how
crazy.
how crazy could this be? I mean, it's crazy. Now, we'll see and find out. I mean, I think the Nuggets will probably win this series in
5.
I'll say 6.
Okay.
I'll say 6, 5 or 6. I don't see this series going 7. But
oh yeah.
but we'll see. As for the Panthers and Knights, I mean the Knights got to be the favorites. I mean they're the more talented team, but the Panthers are the more gritty. So I mean, it'll be tough. I think the question is that long layoff the Panthers had because they were on such a roll. Is that going to affect them?
Right.
So, I mean, I'm picking the Knights to win this series in 5. I'll say 5.
Okay.
But hey, anything can go. Anything can happen in either of those two series. Now, now let's talk a little baseball because Sean, we really don't talk a lot of baseball on the show other than player
Especially very
props
early.
as of late.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the first third of the MLB season. Obviously, we got to start with the Tampa Bay Rays, best record in baseball, doing their thing, offensively loaded, pitching's good. Sure, they'll probably stock up at the deadline. Then you've got the Texas Rangers in first place in the American League West. I mean,
right.
I would not have thought that going into the season if you said who's going to be in first in the AL West. I mean, the logical pick is the Houston Astros.
Astros, exactly.
World Series champions. But the Rangers are doing some things here early. I mean, they've upgraded their pitching, some of their hitting, new management. I mean, their ballpark's only a couple years old.
Yeah,
They went out and
that's
got
funny
Jacob
thing.
deGrom. I mean, they're contenders so far playing at this rate.
They must have did a lot of cleanup.
I mean, you got the Yankees in second, technically in third place in the AL East, but the AL East is stacked. I mean, the Red Sox are in last place and have a winning record.
1 game over 500.
But then you look at the central divisions in each league and they're trash. I mean, yeah, the Brewers are in first in the National League Central, but it's only like 2 games over. And then you look at the AL Central. I mean, the Twins are the only team in the division with a winning record.
Right.
I mean, hey, let's also give some props to the Detroit Tigers. They started off awful. And they're only 2 games. They're only 2 games behind first and 2 games
under 500.
2 games out of 500 and technically 2 games out of first place, I guess, because they have 3 less games than the Twins played. So they got 3 games in hand.
Right, and they'll play the White Sox tomorrow.
I mean, the White Sox are just playing like trash this season. They're what I mean,
I heard there's some fans that saying Jerry Reinsdorf need to sell the team. I was like, that's not gonna happen.
so well. The other thing is Jerry Reinsdorf ain't selling the team because he's got the stadium network. That's his, and his plan with that is he's going to get the Bulls, the Blackhawks, and the White Sox, maybe even the Cubs, all on that network and make it one big Chicago super network. That's what's going to happen.
Kind of like almost like a WGN in a certain way.
Yeah, but it's going to just be all sports related just for all 4 of those teams. Especially now that the Blackhawks won the Bedard sweepstakes, right? Then you got the White Sox, and then you got the Bulls. So all of those teams are probably going, are going to be there, most likely. So I would expect, especially with what's going on with Diamond Sports and Bailey's, and I mean, the Padres just reverted their TV rights over to Major League Baseball. I mean, a lot's going on here, Shawn, and
so that's
I don't think that's going to be the end of it. As far as the baseball, I think you're going to see other teams get their rights back, and they're going to end up going back to MLB. I mean, I expect to see that happening. I mean, the Padres ain't going to be the only ones where it's going to flounder.
I heard about the Reds.
The Reds issue is different than the Padres because the Reds were smart enough to actually invest and be partners within their own network.
Okay.
So while they got paid, they also owned their own ownership of it. They were like partners within it, where like the Padres were not partners. Okay. They just took like a straight, cash. The one thing that a lot of these teams do is that the broadcasters for the teams are actually employees of the team.
Yeah.
Not technically
not the other way
controlled by the network. Exactly. So, but the Reds were smart enough to say, hey, when they were doing this, that they invested into it. So their situation, is a little bit different.
Different than the Padres. Learn something new.
Exactly. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. The Red situation's a little bit different. So, I mean, the way it looks like, they're probably going to get their own rights eventually, too. I won't be shocked if the Tigers eventually get their own rights, too, because, any team that's trash or going to be bad is probably not worth them keeping their rights for.
Right. And you can see certain teams can have be on YouTube TV. Like I know Bally Sports is not on YouTube TV. It's on Fubo TV, but not on YouTube TV.
So I mean, we'll see what happens. Right. I mean,
it appears to be that the regional sports network empire is crumbling down.
It is. I'm telling you, it is. But the other thing is, I think we're going to begin to see, that I think we're going to be kind of, heading towards more streaming of games.
Right. And probably more local if it's if your station's independent or something like that. But it'll be nice if you see I know Phoenix for the upcoming season they'll put their the Suns on local TV. I know that's for sure. I don't know any other teams that's going to do that format, but it wouldn't surprise me. Because I also heard Scripps, they're interested in getting some rights for certain teams. But we will see.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Speaking of Script, you know, they own a lot of newspapers.
That's true.
And they also own Ion TV.
They also own a lot of ABC stations.
And they're also the official network of the Scripps Howard Spelling Bee.
And it's the finals tonight.
And as I talked on Tuesday, there would be Indian domination.
Yes, you did.
And we have 11 finalists going into tonight. And of the 11 finalists, from what I can tell, we have one Caucasian, one Hispanic who might have some Indian, Pakistani, Hindu influence. And then we have 9 Indian, Pakistani, Hindu type of influence. Telling you, there is some hardcore domination in that Southeast Asia, Indian, Pakistani, Hindu vibe. They pretty much run the bee. I mean, I would probably be willing to bet of the last 20 champions, probably 65 to 70% of them are of Hindu, Indian, Pakistani descent. Bangladesh, one of those countries. Right. They got the bee on lock. I mean, you take out the year where there was like 8 champions because, they got through it. Like last year, there was an Indian. The year before that was the black girl who was like the world record holder. But then after that, it was like Indian domination.
After that, yeah,
you take out the year where 8 people won it, and the last year, 2 years ago, Zaire won it. After that, I mean, it's been pretty much Indian domination. I mean, it's just crazy to see that happen. It just is. And, I'm going through the list here, right, of like spelling bee champions and stuff. Let me just go ahead and say this, okay?
Sure.
That Dr. Bailey, the guy who gives the words, he actually won the championship in 1980. Hard to believe.
Wow.
Yep. Dr. Bailey. Anyways, I'm going through the list of champions here, like in the last, like Harini Logan. I know she's, of some type of descent.
Okay.
Zalia Avant-Garde, she's African American. Then in 2019, there was like 8 of them, but like 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 of them were of Indian descent. Okay. Not 2018, Karthik Namani. 2017, Aniana Vinay.
Oh yeah.
2016, Jarherm Harthwar and Neenhar Sarati Janga. 2015, Vanya Sharukakar and Gukul Vagachalam. I don't know. 2014, Serum Hathwar and Anson Sujo. 2013, Arvind Manhankala. 2012, Shinaga Nanda Panadi. 2011, Sunkaya Roy. 2010, Anamika Viramini.
Goodness gracious.
That's
a lot of him. That's a lot of
Marisha, Shavaranka. 2006, Kerry Close. 2007, Evan O'Dorney. And then before them, it was like a run of like 4 other. So basically since 2002, let's say 2000. Since 2000, 1, 2. I'll give that 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
So 14 out of the last. So basically, we're talking about a 70% domination rate of Indian,
Hindu, Indian.
Pakistani, you know, something like
Okay.
that. I mean, their parents, I'm telling you, man, like those parents take the bees serious,
Oh yeah.
big time. Plus, you know, it's crazy. Um, I'm just trying to think of something here. Um, there's that. I'm trying to think of the name of that store. There, it's like
Where's that?
where a lot of Indian kids go to get tutored. Not
Okay.
like not varsity tutors, but
Like legit.
like it. Oh, what's the name of the? I can't think of. Give me a second here, and I'll think of it. Kumar, is that it?
Kumar, Kumar.
Wow. It's like a store, right?
Right.
Like, I can't think of it. It's like Kumar Tutoring. Yeah, Kuman. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, it's Kumar.
Kuman.
Okay.
Okay. So when my son was younger, I took him to Kuman. Okay.
Okay.
Let me tell you. Okay. So, I walked into Kuman, and signed him up, for some reading and math,
Stuff
right?
like that.
So check this out, right? I didn't
Right.
realize like how prevalent it was. And then Kuman, like at the end of the summer, it had like, hey, we have a special event for all of our summer participants. Come to the swimming pool. We rented it out. Man, we got there. I'm telling you, Shawn, we were the only Caucasian people there.
Wow. It was a lot of Indians, wasn't it?
Man, let me tell you, I've never seen so many Indian people in Milwaukee in my life. Like, other unless you go like to a mosque or something, I've never seen so many in my life. I'm telling you, the Indian kids, man, they all send their kids to Kuman and they take the education thing very serious. We were the only white people
Take it
there.
seriously.
There were probably 100, 150 kids at this event. We were the only white people there. There was
Okay.
us, and then there was like 146 Indian kids, and like maybe one Hispanic family, a black family, and an Asian family. That was it. I'm telling you, it was like the Indian congregation of Milwaukee showed up.
My
It was
gosh.
crazy ridiculous. So, crazy times, but man, they take it serious, Shawn.
I bet they do. And also, someone sent me a link. Now, I've never heard of this before. Now, everybody knows fantasy football, but I never heard of college fantasy football. That's
Well,
something
I'm looking
new.
forward to it. I've always wanted
Exactly.
to play in college fantasy football because what, man. I mean, if you're not tied down to one conference,
Right.
you can. Man, there's a lot of conferences, and you have 120 teams.
Right.
I mean, maybe you got a running back in the American athletic conference,
Offense.
going for 1,500 yards. Maybe the Big Ten
Exactly.
doesn't have the most dominant running back. Maybe I can take somebody from Colorado State and they rush
Yeah.
for 1,200 yards
Or
and get
somebody from North
15
Dakota.
touchdowns. so you can draft a little more obscure players who can dominate. I mean, obviously you're probably thinking, I got a college fantasy draft that probably like the top two players are going to be like Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Harrison Jr.
Okay. But after that, and maybe, the other Ohio State wide receivers probably going to be drafted to top 5. Probably Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, probably a first-round pick. Brandon Allen from Wisconsin. You got to do your research on like who are going to be the top offensive players.
As a matter of fact, they already got a magazine out because I saw some at CVS because I did put those magazines out. They got the catalog for like college football players for this year.
Yeah, I mean,
that's something I'll look to buy.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean,
right. Because usually you'll see like a fantasy football, a fantasy baseball, or a fantasy basketball catalog, but not too many fantasy football catalogs.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but Shawn, I'm actually interested in looking to play.
Exactly, and I can watch college football all day.
First time playing. So,
exactly.
Anyways, Indian domination. So, real quick recap before we get to the player props because we've got a little bit of a short show tonight. I'm taking the Nuggets in 6. I'm going to take the Vegas Knights in 5. I'm going to pick some type of Indian kid to win the spelling bee. God, there's only one Caucasian kid, and the Hispanic kid is 11 years old. So I'm thinking I got a pretty good chance here, even though the white girl is 14 years old. She seems pretty mature. So, I mean, we'll see. 9 out of 11 chance. It's an 82% chance, Shawn. I like my odds. So we got player props from. Oh, one last thing I want to talk about. Manchester United and Manchester City are playing in the FA Cup on Saturday. Manchester City's trying to win the treble. They already won the Premier League. They can beat Manchester United. They win the FA Cup. They win if they beat Inter Milan the following week or AC Milan, whatever. They win Champions League. They win the treble. Pretty significant. They should probably blow the barn doors off of Manchester United on Saturday, probably like 4-1, 4-0, 3-0, 3-1. They'll beat them, and then but it's worth watching Saturday. Anyways,
we got 2 by the way.
No house advantage.
Exactly, and use promo code S4A to get an instant match deposit up to $100. So not only we have the NBA, but we also got the player props for the soccer. So I just looked it up on my phone because it won't begin until like Saturday at 10 o'clock.
So what do we got?
All right, so we have Fernandez. It didn't say the first name. It just says Fernandez with 1.5 shots.
Bruno Fernandez? I'll say yes.
All right. The next one is Mahrez, is Mahrez with 2 shots. If I'm saying his name right. Hello? I'm talking to myself. Are you here? The heck happened? I think we kind of lost him. Dang. Oh my goodness. Oh, I think we kind of lost him. Dead. Oh, I hate when that happens because I'm like, Am I talking to myself or what? He'll probably come right back. Oh, here we go.
All
Yeah,
right. What do we got here for the last?
Okay, there we go.
What do we got here for? So Mraz, I'll take the overs on the
For the
first two.
last,
Bruno Fernandez, Nelson Mraz.
okay, and then another one is Haaland. It's Haaland with 3.5 shots.
Well, he's probably the best player in the world right now. Holland,
Yes.
over. He's probably going to have 4 or 5 shots. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually has about 2 goals Saturday.
Wow. All right. So that was the second one. Now we're going to the NBA. So according to not Super Draft, No House Advantage, they believe that Michael Porter will have 3 3-pointers made.
I'll take the under.
Okay. Jokic, 27.5 points.
Probably an over.
All right. Jimmy Butler, 27 points. Now, this one I probably would take the under.
Because
last time he scored 28.
Yeah, I'll probably take the under.
Right. I know many people are going to take the over. And then there's another one. Duncan Robinson with 9 points. I could probably see that as an over.
You know what? I'm going to take the over on Duncan.
Yeah, because
if he hit, you know what? Hey, 3 3-pointers, 2 threes, fake, drives to the lane, gets a bucket, gets a foul, heads to the line. There's 9 points.
And I want to say there is a discount with Martin, because Khalid Martin with 1.5 3-pointers made, I can see that's definitely over. So if he makes 2, they already got the prop.
So we'll see what happens.
Made.
Yep, we'll see what happens. And it should be interesting. And looking forward to Tuesday's show. We only have a couple more shows left till the summer. Oh, also Michigan Panthers play on Saturday, or Sunday this weekend. So I don't know if it's a must-win right now. I'll say this. I don't know if it's a must-win, but I'm going to say this. If they lose that game, they got to win out. That much I'm going to say at this point. All I know is this. They need to win the last game of the season for sure, and they need to win one of the 2 other games, assuming Philadelphia is going to probably win at least one of their next 2 games. So put it like this. They got to win 2 of the next 3 games, assuming Philadelphia loses 1 game, which I think both Michigan and Philadelphia will. Then let's say Michigan and Philadelphia then win their next game. Then those 2 will play in a winner-take-all for first place and probably the only team from the North to make the playoffs. There you go. All right.
Gotcha.
Sounds good.
We will see you guys. We'll see you guys Tuesday.
Peace.
Peace.